This is SBA review lesson number 8 on simplifying expressions. This should take you about, on average, a day and a half, so it's a little longer of a lesson. The first example is select all expressions are equivalent to 5x plus 6 plus 3x. We have parentheses right here, but the outside is just an addition sign, which means that we're technically multiplying by a positive 1. Anything times 1 is itself, so we can kind of just ignore the parentheses. So I'm going to write 5x plus x plus 6 plus 3x. Now we're going to go ahead and combine like terms. That means that we put the x's all together. So I'm going to box them up with the operation to the left. And I have 5x plus x is 6x plus 3 more x's, and I get a total of 9x. And my plus 6 is all by itself, so I'm not going to combine it with anything else. Now I'm seeing everything that is going to be equal to 9x plus 6. 8x plus 6 is not the same thing. Let's go ahead and put our x's together for the second option to see if it equals the same thing. 6x plus 3x equals 9x plus 6. So we found our first match. Whereas 5x plus 3x equals 8x's. So that will not be a match. And obviously 9x plus 6 is the same thing. Let's try example number 2. Here we have a negative outside a parenthesis, and we're going to say that this is a negative 1. Now it's kind of similar to distributing a positive negative, but a positive number, but this time we're distributing a negative. So this will actually change the operation within the parentheses, meaning negative 1 times a negative 9x. Negative times negative is a positive. Negative 1 times a positive 12x. Negative times positive is a negative. And then these numbers have nothing outside the parentheses, so we're going to write them as the same as before. Now that I've distributed the negative outside this parenthesis, I can combine the things that are alike. So I'm going to put my x's together with the operation to the left and my y's together with the operation to the left. Negative 2x plus 9x. The signs are different, so I'm going to subtract, and 9 take away 2 is 7, but I have more positive x's than I do negative, so it will be a positive 7x. Here I have a positive 9y and negative 12y. Again, the signs are different, so I subtract. 12 take away 9 is 3. But this time I have more negative numbers because that minus belongs to the 12. So my answer is a negative 3y. Next we come to our level 4 question. So this one's a little harder. And there's a slight typo. I know that never happens. But we're going to go ahead and erase that one right there. Okay. So here we have, this is a pretty nasty looking little expression here, but we definitely can make it work. You are also able to use a calculator on this problem, really any of these problems. So to start, we need to go ahead and distribute this number outside the parenthesis. And it's not only a 2, it is a negative 2 because that negative belongs to the 2. So negative 2 times negative 5 is a positive 10. Negative 2 times a positive 5.8. Definitely a negative number. 5.8 times 2. Let's see, 16, carry the 1. And we got 11. So negative 11.6. You guys can use a calculator. And here we're going to drop down that negative 1.6. Drop down that negative 4.5x. And let's go ahead and start combining. So we'll combine that positive 10x, the negative 4.5x, the negative 1.6, and the negative 11.6. So we have a 10x minus 4.5x. The signs are different, so I subtract, and I get 5.5x. There are more positives than negatives, so positive 5.5x. Here I have a negative 1.6, negative 11.6. The signs are the same, so I add. So what we have 13.2. They're all negative, so that stays negative. Hey, challenge would be figure out what's the same. I'm not going to let you know, but you can definitely check in with me. All right, we're going to move to the last example, the dreaded fraction. We're distributing a fraction. Do not worry though, it's just multiplying, meaning let's go ahead and just put these whole numbers under 1 so that they look just like that fraction 1/2. And I have 1/2 times 3x over 1, multiply straight across, and I get 3x over 2. See, that's not so bad. Now let's do it again. 1/2 times, this time 4 over 1. Did you notice how fast that was the first time? Not so bad. We just multiply straight across. 4 over 2. Oh, but we know 4 divided by 2 is 2. Let's make that easier. We don't want extra numbers in there. Boom, I'm done. So even though we're multiplying by fractions, it's really not that much farther or longer than multiplying by a whole number. We're done right there. That concludes lesson number 8, and have fun.